So, brunch is basically a total bust. Nobody talks much after Sage's outburst. He may have left the room, but the tension hasn't. Silently, we finish our waffles. Then Dad pushes his chair back and carries his plate to the sink. I help clear the table without being asked. "Want a ride to Dr. Max?" my mom asks as she wipes down the counter. "I'm due at work in an hour. I can drop you off on the way." Mom works at the local retirement home, Golden Age. The old people over there love her because she's always so upbeat. She'll have to fake it today, though. I can tell she's pretty upset about Sage. "Thanks, but I think I'll go for a walk," I tell her. "I'll bike over later." I need some time in the woods. That's where I go to relax, to think. "Okay," she smiles. "Oh, if you go to the creek, try to find some crayfish for the raccoon. And the turtles would love some mushrooms," I say. "I know. I'll bring a basket." I get a basket and my jacket. I grab my camera, too. On my way out the door, Poe flaps and caws for attention. "Not this time, pal," I tell him. I want to take some pictures, and he scares off the wildlife by cawing at the worst moments. To make up for not bringing him along, I offer Poe a couple kernels of popcorn, one of his favorite treats. He knows I'm buying him off, but his stomach gets the better of him, and he gobbles them down. "Bye, Mom," I say. Dad's already back in the shop, and JV's playing in the sunroom. Sage is up in his room, of course. Mom gives me a quick hug. "Bye, honey." She brushes back a strand of my brown hair, just like hers, only without the gray, and looks into my eyes. Then she says, "Why don't you see if Sage wants to go along? He could use some fresh air." I want to tell Mom not to worry about him, but how can I? I'm worried too. "Good idea," I say. I kiss Mom on the cheek and take the stairs 2 at a time to Sage's room. I poke my head in, but he's focused on the computer screen. He doesn't hear me clear my throat. Or maybe he does and decides to ignore me. I don't stick around to find out. I leave through the back door and set out on the path behind our house. There's a whole network of trails through the nature preserve that surrounds our cabin, so I can take a different walk every day of the week. This time, I head toward the creek. There's something about the sparkling clear water splashing over the mossy stones that helps to clear my head. When I'm upset, I go sit by the water and listen to it, and I always leave feeling better. I'm never bored in the woods, because the woods are always changing, depending on the season, the weather, and even the time of day. Right now, all the leaves are turning orange and gold and brown. The fallen ones rustle beneath my feet as I walk along, and I can smell their earthy scent. I pick up a few of the prettiest ones and put them in my basket. I'll press them between wax paper to make decorations for our windows. Sage and I camped out here last summer, watching the stars shine through the pine boughs as we stayed up talking. We traded stories about school, and he told me what things were like when he was my age. Like how he declared himself a pacifist in 6th grade and got teased mercilessly. A bully named Stephen Bauer made it hard for Sage to stick to his principles, but Sage never took the bait. I was proud of my big brother for that. I wonder if Sage would be able to put up with someone like Steve Bauer today. Sage seems so angry and obsessed lately. If we camped out now, he would probably just lecture me for hours. I take a deep yoga breath and let it out. Think calm, think peaceful. I grab my camera and look up at the trees through the viewfinder. Their tall trunks rise into the sky majestically. I know they're just trees, but somehow they look old and wise. I try to imagine how the shot will look in black and white. That's the type of film I usually use. It's the best way to capture the lights and darks of the forest. You can really see the details of something when you don't have color to distract you. You see what's true. Of course, that might just be me being black and white again. Somehow, I don't feel like clicking the shutter just now. I let the camera drop to my side and stand still for a moment to soak it all in. It's so quiet. I can hear a woodpecker drumming away on a dead tree and 2 chickadees calling to each other. Suddenly, I hear another sound, a crashing noise coming from my right. I look over just in time to see a young deer leaping through the underbrush. Its white tail flashes as it bounds away, faster than I could ever run. I must have scared the animal when I moved. I wish I could call out to it, tell it it's safe here in the nature preserve. And I would have loved to snap the deer's picture, but it was moving way too fast for that. I walked down to the creek now and stooped to take a closer look at a tiny fern growing out of a rock. Mom and I are trying to learn to identify the different types, but I can't remember what this one is called. I take out my camera again and focus on the fern. Click. I'll look it up in our field guide when I get my pictures back. As I straighten up, I hear something else. A whimpering sound, very faint. I know that sound. It's an animal in pain. I listen carefully to figure out which direction it's coming from, then tuck my camera into my basket and start to run. I come into a clearing just beyond the creek, near an old apple tree that still blooms sometimes in the spring. The whimpering sound is louder here, but I can't tell where it is. Then I look down near the base of the tree, and I gasp. There's a wolf lying there. No, that can't be. There are no wolves in these woods. I take a closer look. It's a dog, but the shape of his head and his thick, shaggy coat make him look like a wolf. This dog is in trouble. His beautiful coat, shades of cream, tan, and gray tipped with brown, is dull and matted. And he's so thin I can practically count every rib. I can see the way his panting makes his chest rise. At least he's still alive. I approach him carefully, trying to see if he's wearing a collar. "Are you okay, boy? What happened?" He watches me closely and curls his upper lip, but he's too exhausted to growl, much less snap at me. He can barely lift his head. I can't figure it out. Why is he just lying there? Then I take one step closer, and I know. My stomach flips over. My knees turn to jello. Suddenly, I can't catch my breath. The dog's front leg is caught in a trap.